Good evening. It's Vijay here. Today is the 9th June, Sunday. This is a commentary of what happened last week and what we can expect next week. If last week was not an exciting week, you can enjoy much more excitement in the week which is beginning tomorrow. Last week, we all know it started off with this exit poll results. The market went up on Monday, then collapsed after the results which came on Tuesday, and then it went up on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Friday was a spectacular run, especially in the Nifty. The bank Nifty was held back because of the RBI policy, I suspect. So while the Nifty did 2.5%, Nifty did 2%, bank Nifty did about 1%. The broader market was very, very active because most of the punters believed that the worst is over. So they piled on. So it was Monday piling on, Tuesday panicking, Wednesday, Thursday piling on, and Friday was a spectacular piling on. If you look at the internals, while the FIIs were net buyers on Friday, DIIs were sellers to some extent. But interestingly, the retail, which is now become the focus, were also sellers. Now, most analysts think that retailers are the normal retailers. My study over a long period of time shows that what comes under retail, or what we say others, is actually not the regular retail guy who does the DIY, that is the do it yourself kind of guy. Most retailers would like to put their money in the mutual funds. So when you talk of retail investing, one should look at mutual funds and not the other category which is classified as retail. So then who is this retail? Retail typically are the people who are what I call the third force, as what sometimes people call as operators. These are people who are behind the scene. They are the ultra high net worth individuals. They could be corporate bodies. The corporate treasuries have a very huge amount of money, and they could be politicians, and there could be others which we don't know at this point of time. So I think people are misreading the concept of retailers coming in and selling about 8,800 crores on Monday, bought about 15,000 and odd crores on Tuesday. Then they bought about 3,000 and 3,000 on Wednesday and Thursday. And I think on Friday they have sold close to 3,000 and odd. Now, if you look at what has happened in the past under this retail segment, retail in quotation marks, I would say, is that typically they put in about 600 to 1,000 crores per day. Anything more than 1,000 crores is very rare. 1,500, 2,000 is the extreme, I would say. If you look, just an example, one day before the exit poll, last Friday, for instance, not this Friday, I'm talking one day prior to the exit poll, the so-called retailers bought only about 600 crores. So how come they sold 8,800 crores on Monday, bought 15,000 odd crores on Tuesday, and 3,500 plus on all the other 3 days? So that is something which one has to keep in mind before making an analysis of the market. So the market today is in a very, an interestingly poised market technically. I would like to talk about that the candlestick pattern sometime later in the week, because that pattern is what is called a hanging man. And that pattern has got either a bottoming out process or a topping out process. We will discuss this a little later because it's premature to discuss about that candle today. So what's happened in the global markets? Global markets, US did not so well, though Dow Jones tried to do its best, but it has closed in the red. Same thing with S&P and the Nasdaq. The European markets were down. See, what's interesting is that the ECB reduced the interest rates, though they said we'll have high inflation. Now, this is the most stupid thing which any banker can do, a central banker. So promptly what has happened is the markets have started selling off slowly and steadily. I have observed, and it is there on record, that whenever the central bankers reduce their interest rates, the markets begin to actually come down. Most people think if Fed reduces interest rates, the markets will go up. That is not true at all. In 2007, they did a panicky 50 basis point rate cut, and 3 weeks later, the market peaked out and then started the global financial crisis. So generally, they cut rates when there is a panic. Like the last time they cut rates was in the year 2000 because of the COVID. So you can well visualize that there will be some, reduction in the prices when actually rates are cut. Now, in case of COVID, what happened was they pushed in so much of money through QE that held the market and took up the market. Cutting rates is not QE. Okay, so QE is a completely different animal. So therefore, one should be very careful when somebody is saying that we would like to have rate cuts. Rate cuts are the worst thing which can happen to the market under normal circumstances. So you are seeing the US markets down. Now, what was interesting on the final day was the global commodity complex almost collapsed. You take copper, nickel, zinc, aluminium, all of them collapsed 3 to 4%, which is very, very big. Now, this did not spare the precious metals. I think gold came down by about 3.5%, silver came down by about 7%. Now, gold and silver are in a different category, so I would not like to club them with the regular commodities. Silver, especially so, because I keep on telling you, people, that silver is like the teenager. So it's very frisky, it goes up, comes down, and very, very difficult to hold on to your positions, especially with this kind of volatility. But I believe strongly that this kind of volatility will subside and silver has got much more distance to go. Gold has come down simply because the Central Bank of China had stopped buying the last month. Now, people have forgotten that they were buying for the last 30 months. And so now they have paused for whatever reason. It doesn't mean they're selling. So if if gold has to come down, then there has to be selling by central bankers. Today, no central bankers wants to give up their position on gold. RBI came with their policy. They try to tell banks that they will tighten them. So you may see some tightening by RBI in the next few weeks. Now we are going to budget with the cabinet going to get announced tomorrow. It looks almost certain that Nirmala Sitharaman will become our finance minister. So a lot of people have very strong opinions on her. If you really look at the market-based reforms, she has done lots of good reforms, which people don't acknowledge, but they remember about her personal quirks, I would say, where she appears arrogant and does not listen. So if the more market men believe that she will not be good for the market, especially in case of capital gains tax, there is a rumor that the capital gains tax will be in line with the normal taxation which we pay. If that is so, then obviously the market will not receive it well. There is certainly something going to come on the derivative segment, that I have no doubt, because I think the authorities, including Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, has mentioned that something needs to be done. So one should be bracing for some capital market specific issues which the government will address, which is actually good. But you see, it will be painful in the very short term. So first of all, we don't know whether she will become the finance minister, but it is very logical to assume that she will become the finance minister because she's already talked of starting the budget process much before the elections, and there is no reason for Prime Minister Modi to give that to someone else, because then they have to start all over again. She has got a hold on the finance ministry. She knows people, she knows the procedure, she knows the issues, especially with the global rating agencies. So it is logical to expect her to be the finance minister. That may be received by the market not so well tomorrow, but that could be only a passing phase. We'll have to see. I don't think one should make any strong predictions based on whether she comes in. If she comes in, what happens next? But certainly, as far as the speculative element is concerned, one has to be very, very careful. Tomorrow morning, we'll be probably in a better position to judge as to who the finance minister is. I'll come back with the pre-market commentary anyway at around 8:30 tomorrow. Till then, have a nice weekend. And also, please watch the match between India and Pakistan in the World T20. Thank you.